Money FM 89.3. Best of breakfast. Morning Shot.
Welcome to Morning Shot with me, Ahmad Akhtar. The Public Hygiene Council has launched a new Train the Trainers program aimed at equipping corporate cleanliness champions to rally their colleagues and lead initiatives that strengthen Singapore's culture of public hygiene. But why should companies take on responsibility for keeping shared spaces clean? And will workplace-led efforts translate into lasting change? It raises bigger questions about how workplaces can shape habits that go beyond the office and into everyday life. Now, to help us unpack this, we're joined by two guests. First, let us welcome Dr. Christina Liew, Executive Director of the Public Hygiene Council. Christina, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning, Ahmad.
And she is joined by Jimmy Yeap, who's the head of CSR and Employee Engagement at HP, which is one of the participating organizations in this program. Good morning, Jimmy.
Morning, guys.
All right, Christina, I'll start with you. Singapore, pretty famous for its clean streets around the world, but we still rely heavily on cleaners to keep them that way. Why did PHC feel it was time to launch this Train the Trainers program? What gap are you trying to fill?
Thanks, Ahmad and Audrey, for having us on the show. So, yes, thank you for that question. Basically, the Public Hygiene Council launched this program to rally support from not just residents and communities, but from the corporate sector as well. And we realized there was a gap there, that the corporate organizations can do a lot more to help keep Singapore clean and to help drive our movement. And that's really why we launched our Corporate Action Network just over a year ago, actually, in April 2024, to really rally corporates to do their part to lead environmental change in Singapore. And as you've rightly said, Singapore is clean, but there's still a lot more that can be done. And we realized this was an untapped segment of the population that could help us.
What does this program entail exactly? How many corporates are being trained? How did you decide on which ones to select?
Right. So we've got a corporate action network that we set up, and we started off with 52 members. And within a year, it grew to 131 members. So everyone is invited to come on board our training program. We really welcome everybody from the office-based corporate organizations to construction companies to institutes of higher learning. And really, our aim is to grow 60 cleanliness champions this year in celebration of SG 60. So that was really our goal. And we have a few Train the Trainers sessions lined. We've completed 2 already. The first one was launched just 2 weeks ago on 31st of July. We completed our second one yesterday, and we've trained in total about 80 corporate organizations who we hope are going to go on to become champions. And we have another session coming up. So again, we welcome everybody, and as many champions as possible as we can train would be wonderful. All
right. Well, one of those 80 champions is HP, and this is where I bring Jimmy into the conversation. From HP's perspective, why did you decide to get involved?
So as the newest member of PHC's Corporate Action Network, we find that the program aligns with HP's long-standing commitment to environment stewardship. And although we have been conducting annual cleanups, as part of our Global Shoreline campaign annually, we saw this as an opportunity to enhance our impact.
Okay. Why do you think public cleanliness should be seen as a corporate responsibility? When you mention environmental stewardship, what does that actually mean to you at HP?
So our CEO once also quoted that, every job is a climate job. And it's actually not something that's, just taken care of by a few. It's a responsibility that's shared by all. And addressing climate change is actually one of our goals. Yeah, so this is important to us. Okay,
Christina, what's unique about this program compared to other cleanup or CSR activities we've seen before? Why should people be paying attention to this one?
I think that, really it's about empowering corporates. So in the past, if we're working with schools or communities to do cleanup programs, then it's really about going out and doing ad hoc community events and getting everyone to really chip in and have fun while they're cleaning up the environment. But for this one, we're really empowering businesses. So we're providing them with knowledge as well as practical skills and also access to PHC's resources. We have about 23 clean pods located throughout Singapore. And here we have litter picking tools, pails, tongs, and pickers, where people can use these for free. So they just have to sort of book with us on the website. And really, we're asking corporate organizations to lead and be champions in their own right. Influence people in their spheres of their communities and who they work with.
What exactly does a cleanliness champion do, and how are they expected to influence their colleagues?
So a cleanliness champion really has to undergo a comprehensive training program with the Public Hygiene Council. And there are sort of three key parts here to this training program. One is about understanding Singapore's cleanliness journey and the challenges that we've been facing all these years. So they learn about the fundamentals in terms of like knowledge. Also, they learn how to design cleanup programs and how to implement these programs. So they really learn how to plan things effectively. And then the last part is about mobilizing their communities and mobilizing their spheres of influence. So here they build partnerships and they maintain these partnerships. So really that's what they do. And then they go out, they conduct sustainable cleanup initiatives, they drive things, they lead things, and they continue building their partnerships and training others, really. So it's about amplifying this effect, really, like the multiply effect.
Yeah, so the intended goal is for the training to go far beyond the workplace and benefit the community as well.
Absolutely.
Jimmy, you've partaken in the training sessions that Christina's just described. What stood out to you during those sessions? Any lessons or takeaways that surprised you that you'd like to share with us?
Yep, we actually learned about seasonal patterns and how, the monsoon could actually wash up trash into our beaches. So I think we also wanted to tailor our cleanup schedule to align with that. Yeah, so like access to resources. So in the past, I think when we plan for beach cleanup, we actually have to worry about the logistics on purchasing tongs and garbage bags to collect it. But now with the clean pots, it's actually very easy for corporates like us to just, pick a place and then, do the cleanup.
Yeah, what's the feedback been like amongst your staff? Was there any pushback? Were they all on board with the program?
Oh, no. I think they are very receptive to this idea because one, these kind of cleanup actually give them a chance to go outdoor. So it's a break from their daily desk schedules. We also have very accommodating HR policy where, every employee is actually allowed 4 hours of paid time off a month to do volunteering work. And this is something that they enjoy because they can actually bond with their teams. They get to know other team members, in the other departments as well.
All right, Christina, back to you. How will PHC measure the success of these cleanliness campaigns? And what does lasting behavioral change look like to you?
That's a really good question, Imad. And this is something we thought about as well when we were launching these programs, that how we're going to measure whether our training programs have been successful. So one thing that we thought of would be to count the number of certified cleanliness champions we managed to grow during this period. So that's an easy thing to do. We set ourselves a target of 60 for this year. But of course, the more we have, the better. And it's a program that we hope to continue for years to come. Also, the frequency and the scale of our cleanup initiatives, how often our corporate organizations organize these and how big they are, how many people they manage to rally. And I think adding on to what Jimmy said, getting everybody to come on board is not actually that difficult because when they come on board, they realize that they bond and they have a lot of fun and they enjoy doing it and then they'll go out and do more. Also, how many people come and use our clean pods? So we really put out these resources and we ask everybody really to please use them so that they are well used and all the tools are there for everybody to use. The growth in our Corporate Action Network membership, as I said, we grew from 52 to 131 in just over the space of a year. So that really shows the dedication and the passion of the private sector to wanting to keep Singapore clean. And I think the last thing we thought about was how much cross-collaboration we can get between these organizations and how many community partnerships they can build and then move forward. So those were some of the measures of success that we thought about, Imad.
Yeah, you touched on the dedication of the private sector to move forward on cleanliness and hygiene campaigns. And I just want to refer to a PHC article I read online that argued that instead of viewing cleaning as an operational cost, a company's cleanliness and hygiene level can be seen as an operational asset that works towards boosting its bottom line. Ultimately, if, for example, the toilets at coffee shops are not clean, then business will suffer at those coffee shops as well. Have you witnessed a mindset shift on this front?
We have actually. We have really realized that when individuals, communities and corporates come together, they really are inspired by each other and that they really want to move forward and do things to keep their places and their work environments and their neighborhoods clean. So we have seen a shift in that. Yeah. People really are passionate and they really want to do their part. It's just sometimes they don't know how to get started or they don't have the right tools. And that's where PHC comes in to empower them with knowledge and practical skills and tools to get going with this.
Yeah, Jimmy, you mentioned earlier that campaigns like these give your staff an opportunity to do something different, to get out of the office, get away from their usual work settings. So that's a clear example of how cleanliness at the workplace can improve employee well-being. It can also help companies, by that token, attract and retain talent if they have a good reputation for keeping their office spaces clean. Is this something you've thought about in the long run at HP?
Yeah, that's correct. I think talent attraction and retention is important for us. We have younger and highly skilled, employees that increasingly prefer to work with companies with strong sustainable commitments. So that actually, boosts recruitment and reduce turnover costs. At the same time, I think sustainability challenges also pushes company to create new products, services, and processes. So we actually have our range of, laptops, monitors, and keyboards that are made by ocean-bound plastics.
Excellent. Yeah. Okay. Final question, Christina, and it's a two-pronged one. How does workplace-based behavior change compare with school or community campaigns? And what do you hope both employees and the wider public will take away from this initiative?
Thank you, Ahmad, for that question. I think with workplace-based initiatives, there are unique advantages. So there's accountability because there's good corporate structure. It's easy to implement programs there, and it's easy to keep it going and to measure whether or not it's working. And also you have daily workplace routines. So again, it's easy to incorporate cleanliness initiatives within your routines. You have leaders, you have natural leaders in the workplace who can be the ones to step up and drive these initiatives. And then they can influence each other, influence their peers, and everybody, does the right thing. It's really about social responsibility and graciousness as well, moving forward to do these things. And also then you have the resources available to you within your workplaces for sustained programs. So I think that's the good thing about doing it in workplaces. In schools, as you mentioned earlier, we work very closely with schools as well. Our goal there is really to give the children a heads up, to form good habits from a young age. And we've aligned PHC's programs with MOE's Values in Action program. So the children get benefit from both sides. They get to learn how to do things properly, and this contributes to the VIA hours. So that's a good thing. There we're developing student leaders, and then we hope that they will bring this home to their families as well as to their friends to impact each other through their knowledge and their education. And then within the communities as well, which is the other big sector that we're working with, they do their initiatives together, but a lot of this is based on volunteer participation. So they go to their neighborhoods, they keep the neighborhoods clean, they go to the beaches and the parks, to shared spaces. But again, this is based very much on volunteer activation and on friendships and bonds that they have moving forward. So I think each place has its unique advantages, but together they come together to create a good ecosystem for public cleanliness in Singapore.
Yeah, this is very much a concerted effort on the part of all Singaporeans to ensure that we strengthen our culture of public hygiene. We have been talking about a new Train the Trainers program launched by the Public Hygiene Council aimed at equipping corporate cleanliness champions to rally their colleagues and to lead initiatives in this space. Christina, Jimmy, thank you so much for your time this morning.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you, Audrey.
Thank you.
We were in conversation with Dr. Christina Liew, Executive Director of the Public Hygiene Council, and Jimmy Yeap, Head of CSR and Employee Engagement at HP. You're listening to Money FM 89.3.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.